Hovind.
An inmate at the Pensacola County Sheriff's Office. This call will be recorded and monitored. Your advance pay account balance is $33.83. For customer assistance, billing inquiries, or to block future calls, dial 1-877-650-4249. To hear the cost of this call, press 8 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline, this call is subject to monitoring and recording. Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
All right, brother, I'm hoping that the people that are holding me here are feeling like Pharaoh did after the 10th plague. Pharaoh could not wait. He couldn't wait to get the Jews out of there. He called them at midnight and said, pack up and move. You're out of go now. Why not wait till morning? No, go.
Go right now.
Couldn't wait to get... Go now. Yes, sir. So leave your stuff. Oh, okay. I do have two Snickers bars left, and I think a quarter of a bag of coffee. So I'll leave that with somebody, and I'll just take off. As much as I like a Snickers a couple times a week, I'll just leave it behind. Anyway, go ahead, brother.
All right, Pastor Hovind. I can't even begin to tell you how many people are looking forward to hearing that news. All right, Pastor Hovind. This is the one that I'd lost before, and I found it again. Comes from Joe. Hi, Pastor Hovind. My name is Joe. I very much hope you are not in jail to receive this question. Unfortunately, that is the case. If so, I wanted to ask you about programmed cell death, apoptosis of the human body in the Garden of Eden environment. Today, in a healthy adult human, millions of cells in the body die and are replaced every hour. In order for people to live hundreds of years, cells must have lasted longer and been much more sturdy. Pre-flood, was it the combination of better genetics plus a better environment that allowed for this? Do you think disease began to ravage mankind after the flood? Thanks in advance, and really looking forward to any of your future work. God bless you, Pastor Hovind, from Joe.
Well, great question, Joe. And before you can discuss, what death was there, their cell death, etc., you have to first discuss what is life. Is a cell considered alive in the biblical sense? Is a plant considered alive in the biblical sense? Would eating, for instance, the asparagus, or pulling up the plant and eating the potato, the root, does the plant die? Technically, no. It says in the Bible the plants wither, but they don't have a soul like animals do, like people do. So there's something different about animal death and plant death in the Bible. And I'm sure no expert on that, but I see clearly that it talks about the plants wither, the plants fade, but I don't think they're considered alive. So in that case, when Adam was eating the fruit or the vegetables, was it killing them? Well, of course, in our modern definition, of course, but in the biblical definition, I don't think it is. So do the cells die? Well, first, are they alive? Is the human body a combination of, let's pick a number and say there are 100 trillion cells. I mean, people argue about whether it's, I don't know how, everybody's different. I guess I've seen some people have way too many of them. But anyway, regardless, are the individual pieces alive, or is the collective group of cells alive? Is it one life or 100 trillion lives? So I would answer by saying I don't think you could say a cell is alive in the biblical sense. So for the cell to do its job for X number of days or weeks or months or years, and then to be replaced and recycled, broken down into pieces, all of the pieces are recycled. Like your blood cells, they go around your body and they're disassembled and reassembled into another one. So it's just the parts being reused. So I would say cells don't die at all. They just simply, at least in the biblical sense, so they're not alive. So there's no death there. So to answer the question, I don't think in the Garden of Eden, I think you'd have the same situation we have now, where cells do their job and they wear out and are taken apart, and the pieces are reassembled into some other cells, something else. Different cells in different parts of your body, the cells last different lengths of time. Bone cells might live 7 years before they wear out and are replaced, whereas cells in your skin might only last 20 or 30 days. A bricklayer, the cells on the palm of his hand might only last 5 days or a short time. So it varies. But today we would say yes, the cells die, but I don't think they would say that in the Bible. Okay, hope that answers the question.
All right, Pastor Hovind. The next question comes in from Brother Thomas, and Brother Thomas says, question for Kent. Brother Kent, could you please share your ideas about the rebuilding your ministry, including Dinosaur Adventure Land, and how we can help? I'm convinced God is going to use this experience in your life to start a grassroots creation evangelism revival beginning in America and around the world. There are now thousands of us around the world that I believe want to help you rebuild this new ministry. Please let us know how we can help. Thank you, Brother Kent. Brother Thomas from Pennsylvania.
Well, thank you. Yes, sir. I would love to inspire many thousands to do this. One thing I did early in my ministry, once I got PowerPoint slides, is I offered to give people copies of all my stuff. We had a startup kit where we would give people all 7,000 of my PowerPoint slides, a video I did on how to use PowerPoint, how to, for boneheads, assuming the person knows nothing. And I'm sure there's better stuff out there now. I know technology has changed a lot. I've been in prison quite a while. I've heard they even brought the outhouse in the house. But these days, I don't know why anybody. Is that true, Rudy?
Yeah, they actually did. They did that.
Wow. So I guess things are, and they got lights. You just flip a switch. You don't have to light the candle.
Yeah, that too.
I have to see about all that. Wow. Anyway, so I don't know, but the short answer is yes. I want to help anybody I can. It's always been my dream. I saw firsthand the changed lives from our little Dinosaur Adventure Land in my backyard. Only 5 acres, and it was amazing. We had 100,000 visitors come through there, teaching simple science lessons that all have a spiritual lesson. The kids went nuts. I mean, you can get testimonies by the hundreds and hundreds of people who came there and said, wow, that was not only fun, it was educational, and it drew me closer to God. So if I indeed do get a settlement here from these folks for some money, which they should, I don't know whether they will or not, it's another story. They don't.
This call is from the Pensacola Florida Sheriff's Office.
They sure don't like giving it back. So we'll see. We're going to try everything lawful to do that. But then I would like to start like a Dinosaur Adventure Land type ministry. I'd like to start one every 400 or 500 miles across the country. Rather than build one giant one where everybody has to come to you, kind of like Disney has done. There's 2 of them in America. You got to go there. Well, let's have 100 of them instead, smaller ones. There are some great small-scale creation ministries around the country already, and we need a lot more, probably several in every state, or maybe even every big metropolitan area. A little hands-on science center. What I tried to do with ours was to have a combination of science center, like an exploratorium type thing, hands-on experiments, and also a museum where stuff's on display, but you can't touch it because, it's too valuable. You can't let them handle it. So you got a combination of science center, museum, and theme park, where each slide or swing or ride or activity teaches a great lesson. And so I would love to help people get started. What my current plans are is to build one someplace. First of all, get the one we had reopened. Secondly, build a bigger one for camping and for week-long training where people can come down like a Boy Scout camp, spend a week, or even come down and spend a year, live there on staff, see what we do, and then we'll say, okay, you ready? Yep, we've seen you for a year. We know you're trustworthy. You've lived with us for a year. You know what to do. We'll help one get started. Now, if you want to use our name, Dinosaur Adventure Land, then we're going to want to have control over quality control kind of stuff and standards and doctrine. If you want to just use our ideas, go for it. We don't care. Just use a different name. So that's the current thinking on that. Is the goal is to start 100 of these around the country. Okay.
All right. No, thank you, Pastor Hovind. Going back to what you said about the outhouse, my dad tells me a story of his granddad saying, what is the world coming to when they move the outhouse to the inside of the house? So you're absolutely right about that. They have done that since you've been in prison, and you'll have to get used to that when you get out. Pastor Hovind, the next question comes in from... Yes, sir.
Oh, hey, hang on. Did you hear the story about the boys went out one Halloween night, and just for a joke, they picked up the outhouse and threw it down in the gully into the creek.
Okay.
And they thought that was real funny. Next morning, the dad called his son in. He said, hey, son, were you with that group of boys that threw the outhouse down the gully into the creek? He said, well, Dad, I cannot tell a lie. Yes, I was. He said, all right, son, you are about to get a beating. He said, well, Dad, when George Washington cut down the cherry tree, He told the truth. His dad didn't punish him. He said, yes, son, I know, but George Washington's dad was not in the cherry tree when he cut it down.
There you go. There you go. Very good.
Okay.
All right. Very good, Pastor Owen. The next question comes in from Heath.
And, one more thought. I'm curious if your Canadian wife got that joke.
I don't know that she's listening. Every time she picks up the phone, the quality of our phone call goes. I'll have to ask her later when she's
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll ask her later. But I love my wife. No doubt about that. That's no question about it. I'm a very blessed man. All right, Pastor Hovind. Heath writes, "Hello, Pastor Hovind. Much love and blessings your way, brother. I am a firm believer in the whole word. I was wondering, since we are made in God's image, and that man should not lay with man, and woman should not lay with woman, how do we as Christians explain Hermaphrodites? Do they even exist? Thank you, your brother. Much love from Heath."
Well, my understanding of the question would indicate that hermaphrodite is those that seem to have qualities or traits of both sexes. Certainly there are animals, or especially bacteria and stuff in the world, that seem to be just, they don't reproduce sexually, they reproduce what's called asexually, just simply divide in half, like most bacteria or yeast would do. There seem to be some that appear to have both male and female traits. I think if you really analyze it, though, you'll find out it's actually just one or the other, not both. So that's a field for somebody else to answer that question. I don't know, but I don't think there's been a genuine hermaphrodite. Okay.
All right. Very good. All right, Pastor Hovind. This question is. It's from the Jordan family, and they write, "Keep the faith, and God will take care of you. Praise to God for all that God has done and will do in your life." Here is our question. James 2:17 states, "Even so, faith, if it..." James 2:17 states, "Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone." James 2:26 states, "For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. We know that it is only the blood of Jesus Christ that can save us, and not our works. Do you believe that if someone is saved, that you will see good works in that person's life?"
I think if a person is genuinely saved, they will eventually produce good works. Something is wrong. An apple tree eventually produces apples in most cases. Now, it is not an apple tree because it produces apples. It produces apples because it is an apple tree. The apple trees are simply the outward sign that that's what it is. And so if a person says, "I'm a Christian," and nothing changes, their vocabulary doesn't change, their lifestyle doesn't change, their thinking doesn't change, I doubt they're a Christian. I mean, I'm not God to decide those kind of things, but I hear people all the time say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian." Billy Sunday, I think it was, said he was walking downtown someplace, and this guy walked out of the tavern stone drunk, and he said, "Hey, Billy, I'm one of your converts." And Billy said, "Yeah, you probably are. You're sure not one of God's converts. I'd be one of mine." You didn't get the real thing. So I think faith shows your works, or works show your faith. I can't see your faith. I can only see your works. You can claim anything you want all day long, but I can't see that unless it shows up in your lifestyle. Okay? So no, the works do not save you, but they do show the world that you're saved. Thank you for the question.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Hovind. Next question comes in from Rick. He says, "Hello, Kent, Matthew 16:18, KJV. And I say also unto thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." Question, what is the church age? Where does the church age fit into biblical history? Part 2, how is the church age different from other biblical time periods in God's plan? God bless, and I am prayer in the air, Rick.
There are arguments among theologians of exactly when the church started. Did it start with John the Baptist baptizing Jesus? That seems...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Seems to be the correct answer. Other people say no, it started at the day of Pentecost, 3.5 years later. I don't know that I don't have the interest or skills to get into that argument or debate. But the church age is certainly what we're living in today. It's probably the thing that the disciples, that the Old Testament people could not see. Let me discuss a little more on that when I call right back. Okay.
Okay, Pastor Hovind.
Can you say this one when you call back?
Yeah, let me stop it. So Pastor Hovin's going to call back and we'll continue Bible questions.